What in oblivion is that? Sounds like thunder.
Impossible.
Impossible. There's not a cloud in the sky. But a storm comes nonetheless. What you're hearing are the drums of war. I've never seen a force so large marching out of oasis. Aramoran troops? Where are they headed?
Take heart.
North, to the border of Swift Harbor, no doubt, and we must follow. Are you mad? We couldn't possibly take on a force that size. I don't expect they will go unopposed by your Delian compatriots, but it's not the army we're after. We need to get to Swift Harbor as soon as possible. Why Swift Harbor? Wouldn't it be best to travel by road? I took the liberty this morning of sharing all that you've told me with Hesta. She has a contact who may be able to help. In Swift Harbor? No, in Vera. All the way across the Barrow Sea, the war will have ended long before we return. Who is this contact anyway? All you need to know is that they can help. I should explain.
Stop.
Hesta. This place still stands because of them. It's only right that they know what it is. And besides, from everything you shared, it's clear to me they seek the aspects in goodwill. As you wish. It's true I'm a priestess of fame, but in this temple I serve another purpose. I am a member of the Order of the Eternals. Order of the Eternals? I've never heard of that before. That's how we prefer it. We are charged with the keeping and protection of the eternal aspects, some of which you have discovered and learned to use.
A moment, please.
I assure you, we've only ever sought to study and protect them, and it's clearer now than ever that we aren't the only ones to have taken such an interest. The Order has been made aware of more sinister activities surrounding the aspect. It's not unlike the attack last night. But why attack this temple? In this place, I am the guardian of a small trove of aspects. The necromancer sought them, no doubt. Now I trust they would be safer in your hands. If you mean to entrust us with these aspects, you have my word that we will guard them with our lives and put them to good use. I'm certain you would, but first I must ask that you help me fare them to Vera. The Order is much more powerful there, and my superiors will want to know what you've learned. I'm sure you can protect both you and the aspects while we get to the truth of the matter. Sarah Semra, what do you think?
We must.
We don't have any other leads. If the Order knows more, they're best suited to help.
Disgraceful.
I think this is a mistake. If there was ever any questions about our desertion, broken passage across the sea would remove all doubt. They stopped questioning that the moment we walked away from Red Hill. Why fight it? I understand the weight of this choice, but you must decide quickly. It would be best to get to Swift Harbor before things get ugly. If what you say is true about the Order, then it's hardly a decision. We will follow your lead. Hey Bianca, can I tell you something funny? I could use a good laugh. When Sloan and I were stuck in that cell and you guys came to rescue us, the first person I saw was scared. Really? I'm sorry to hear that. Huh. Are you not getting along these days?
Not even.
Nah, I just like giving him a hard time. Oh, haha, got it. Well, anyways, when he came into the room, I thought he was one of the bandits. I thought maybe the group that captured us was moving to a new camp. Hahaha, that is funny. I'll have to tell him that. Can I tell him that? Do you think he'll get mad? No, but if he did, that would be even funnier, honestly. I don't want to cause any problems. We won't, don't worry. Alright, go ahead then.
Who'da thunk?
That's great. When did you figure out he wasn't a bandit? When you and Lincoln came in, actually, you two looked like you were ready to lay down the law.
Yep.
Yep, I think that's the look he's going for. Well, he definitely lives up to it. He really does. Hey Sloan, I wanted to ask but kept forgetting. What kind of stories did your pa tell you about mine? Not many, I'm afraid. They didn't know each other long, and truthfully, I'm surprised you seem to know so much about him. Oh, sure, I know about him. My pa looked up to him big time.
I'm intrigued.
Impossible. That doesn't really add up with what I've heard. Well, maybe we should do less math and more listening, huh? Let me spin you a tale like my pa would.
That's cute.
I guess we could do that. It's a code. Dark Night. The year is 1079. Benji the First is trudging through. They met in 1078 actually, during the Nuasian border war. Huh, must have forgotten the date. Anyway, trudging through the rain and to sneak up on an encampment of Nuasians.
Nothing less than the best.
He'd spotted the campfire from a ways off and was determined to save his brothers in arms. He roared into their camp. And it turned out it was just Henry and his advisor. Their wagon had gotten stuck, so they were camped for the night. He sure felt silly. That isn't how I heard the story told. Well, I'm sure you heard it from the other side.
Benji!
Can you imagine a big hulking Benji in this suit of armor, busting out into the camplight in the middle of the night? Huh, a terrifying thought, and exactly how my father had told the story. Why in the world did he think they were Aramorans? They were hundreds of miles from the conflict. We can never be too prepared. You're on a roll setting records, Alden. You just might be the youngest deserter in the history of Delian Army.
Oh no!
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
Right.
I'll admit, it hasn't got the best ring to it. Do you think it was the right decision to make to desert? You see, I don't worry too much about that kind of stuff. Life's easier that way. I don't know. I worry about it sometimes. That's good. Try to hold on to it if you can. People will respect you for it.
Huh?
You don't care if people respect you? I gave up on that pursuit years ago, right around your age. In fact, tell me, do they still make first years drink vertical potions and climb down the side of the clock tower? No, the school used to do that. Not the school, of course not, but it was sort of a tradition. Are you sure? You know, the kind of your friends put you up to. Not my friends. Irving and Myron put you up to that? Well, no, other friends. Perhaps you've chosen your friends more wisely than I did. Sounds like it. Alright there, sport. I must admit, I wasn't sure I'd see you again. You did tell me to return it if anything went awry. I suppose I just didn't expect the mighty Arima to need my help. Girl knows I needed it before. Yes, and now it seems I need yours. Fate settles all mortal depths. A wise woman once told me that. Huh, not wise enough. The business with the aspects. I wish I had more to tell you than I've told the others. There's no need to. You're serving your order faithfully. That's what matters. Perhaps. And what about you? Well, what about me? Why are you here with the group? I mean, instead of back in your den, tired of competition? Oh, I'm not sure I'd ever say that. Just looking for something new. Well, whatever you seek, I pray you will find it. Do you really? Every morning and night, ever since you first left the temple, in fact. Thank you, Vesta. I look forward to the day the gods give their answer. Perhaps they already have. I am told they do that. From time to time. Arima, pardon me. I've read so much of your exploits, and now to finally meet you, well, suffice it to say, I'm honored you've decided to accompany us. You're shaking like a wet dog, elf. Have some dignity. Why, oh, I suppose I am. Perhaps there's a draft. So you are one who led the others to my trial? Yes, and it was no trivial task. You did not make yourself easily discoverable. If I had, I expect you might have found me too late. Before another challenger bested you, I hardly think it likely. I do not claim to have the power to single-handedly stem the tide of the armies of Aramor. Would armies have been sent after you? There are those with the power to send them who stand to gain much satisfaction from my death, even still.
I must write that down.
You speak of those responsible for your exile. I speak of whom I speak.
Certainly.
Perhaps that was presumptuous of me to ask. Might we start at the beginning then? What was it like to grow up under the shadow of your father, the great mirage of the Silent Sands? And how should I share my story with you when I have yet to finish writing it myself?
Absurd.
We all must share our stories while we yet alive, or we risk them being rewritten by other, less reliable narrators. Is that a threat? Of course not. Merely a humble historian's advice.
I'm getting too old for
Then
this.
let us go where we might speak more privately. I will tell you of my father. Wonderful. Corbin, can I ask you something about what you said to Samara?
All right.
Of course. How can a story be true if it isn't factual? I'm not sure that makes sense. Have you ever heard the tale of the dragon and the slime?
Yep.
Of course, when I was young. Huh. Well, now that you're no longer young, perhaps you could answer me this. Do you truly believe there was an Najan witch who arranged such a contest between these two creatures? Maybe. I've seen some pretty weird stuff. Fair. And let me propose another question. Does it matter? Would the story lose its effectiveness if you learned its events never truly took place? I guess not. And yet, we can all find the lasting truth in the story, no? So what you're saying is, even if it didn't really happen, it doesn't matter because the message is true?
Sure.
Something like that. That makes sense.
You've done well.
You've a sharp wit. Now then, be sure you keep it pointed at foe and not friend. It seems you hardly ever part with that quill, Corbin. Inspiration is a fickle lover. A faithful writer must be ready to reach for his pen at a moment's notice. And what about an unfaithful writer? I wouldn't know. I never read any of their work. Fair point.
A moment, please.
On the subject of inspiration, your background has sparked me curiosity. There are a few questions I might ask if you had the time.
As you will.
I figured as much. Tell me, the trove of aspects you kept at the temple, did you guard them alone, or were there others with you? Corbin, I'm no hermit. Of course, there were others. Those who supported my mission, the clerics who sent me to this temple, and so on.
Certainly.
Naturally, but I mean actually with you in the temple. Some local folk, all rather lovely, merchants, farmers, travelers, pilgrims from all over. At length, I grew fond of them.
How?
And yet, all that while your mission was hidden from them.
Sworn to protect.
The defense of the aspects was not my only task, Corvin. I'm a cleric. My duty it was to tend to the faithful.
Sure.
Of course, no doubt, they relied on you to inspire their faith, and who inspired yours. One who prays is never far from the divine. I'll admit it was difficult at times, but there were many little moments now and then that reminded me of my purpose. Why did what I did? Those moments sustained me. What interests you so much about my past anyway?
This shouldn't be
That's
possible.
something I've always wondered about clerics. So many lean on them. How can they stand on their own 2 feet?
Take heart.
Same as we march onwards now, together, supporting one another. It's no mystery, really. Good. In that case, our success depends on a proven strategy. I believe it does.
All right.
Then, may we all take inspirations from your faith. Well, Corbin, I'm not used to seeing you standing around. I figure you're always stuck away in the tent somewhere writing vigorously. That's not so far from the truth. Although I do prefer trees, next time you have need of me, you might try looking up. Duly noted.
A moment, please.
But in the meantime, it's fortunate that you've stumbled upon me. Providential, even, one might say.
Huh?
Oh, is there something I can do?
Certainly.
Yes, actually, you were a student of herbalism, were you not?
Mm-hmm.
I was. Are you wounded? Not wounded per se, but ill. I seem to have ingested some fish that disagrees with me rather strongly. I might add. I understand. Well, the good news is that nothing we can't fix. This may seem a strange question, but do you have a preferred direction of expulsion that will help me determine the remedy?
Come again?
Goodness, I don't consider either choice particularly pleasant. It was a bit of salmon, after all. Perhaps upstream is best. How poetic. Let me find something for you. Here. These are deep-toed eggs, pickled and unfertilized. I should add, swallow a couple and that fish should breach again in no time. Sniff. God's below, I think, but a whiff of this should be sufficient. In that case, I'll take my leave.
You've done well.
Yes, I think that's best. Be well, Corbin. With your help, I should be. Ah. Hey, Helena, what you doing over here by yourself? Praying? Oh, don't people usually go somewhere holy to do that? Terrazzo itself can be just as sacred as any temple when properly appreciated. Ah, that makes sense, but wait a minute. If the whole world is sacred, what's the point of temples? You might find it difficult to buy candles, incense, and prayer beads from a tree. So they're basically just big glorified shops?
No.
No, Sophia. Temples are built on hallowed ground. They are places of spiritual significance.
Uh-huh.
Got it. So all of Terra is holy, but some parts of it are extra holy, and when you can't get to the extra holy parts, nature will do.
That's right.
Sufficiently summarized. I love learning about these stuff. I've always been a spiritual person, I think, without really realizing. Things have always just kind of happened in my life, and it always worked out for the better. Even the bad stuff, like getting caught by those bandits that led me and Sloan to you guys. There's gotta be a reason for that.
There.
You are fortunate to feel this way about your life. There are many people of great faith who do not feel the same.
Huh?
Oh, that's surprising. But gratitude is a worthy cause for prayer. Offer it to the gods when you feel it wash over you. Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Were you ever a dancer, Caius?
Well,
Not in any professional sense. Why do you ask? You fight like a dancer, jumping all around so gracefully, I almost expected you to take a bow after that last battle. Huh, that would be a bit ridiculous. I guess so. Now that I say it out loud. What about you? Were you ever a dancer?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, still am. Have you ever looked up into the canopies and twirled around and around? It turns something ordinary into something absolutely magical.
Huh?
Can't say I have, but maybe next time I get a chance I'll give it a try. You definitely should. Actually, that's what I was doing when I met Butter, right before I found him cornered by a bear. Isn't that right, Butter? But that was a sight to see for this little guy.
Oh, Butter.
Then I taught Butter to dance too.
Uh-huh.
Now that's something I'll need to see to believe.
Ta-da!
Alright, come on, Butter. Show Caillou's dance. 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 Ha ha ha. Well, would you look at that? A dancing ferret. That is cute.
Yep.
Isn't it? Butter's a pretty good dancer too. I'm still trying to pick up some of his moves. Best of luck with that, Sophia. Thanks. Alias, Alden tells me he's been asking you about some of your abilities. I hope he's not bothering you. Oh, not at all. His curiosity is quite refreshing, actually. I tried explaining to him that being an adept is like being a mage, but that doesn't seem to have done any good. He does seem to be interested in learning these abilities himself. Luckily, there are some effects which can be reproduced with more traditional magic, though, in all honesty, I'm probably not the best mentor to show him how. And let me guess, you've told him that and it hasn't deterred him one bit. Ah, yes, that's right. I'll talk to him.
Hold on.
Really, Marin? That's no need. I have a younger sibling myself. I'm accustomed to it for the most part.
Really?
You have a little brother? I've never heard you talk about him. A sister, actually. Oh, sorry. That's quite alright. Her name is Rena.
Huh?
Rena, that's a pretty name. Huh? What's she like? She is kind to a fault, even warm, generous, thoughtful, curious, and she loves to rum cakes. One bite takes her to the astral plane and back 6 times over. Haha, sounds like Rena and I would get along. I imagine you would. Maybe I'll get to meet her someday. Do you think she'd ever come to visit? She shouldn't, but she might try. She wouldn't have any trouble leaving and returning, would she? She has a bad leg, you see. I used to help her get around, but her condition only worsened just before I left. I doubt she'd have much success making it across the border. Oh, I'm sorry, Elias. My father always talked about getting a pony for her. She always wanted one anyway, before her leg went out. Hopefully, he's gone and done that now. She sounds so sweet, Elias. I'd go bring her a pony just to meet her. That's kind of you, Marin. I'm sure it's hardship to you in many ways, but you're lucky you weren't separated from your brother, especially given the circumstances. Families should stay together, I think. I think so too, and I'm definitely lucky to have Alden with me. I need to do a better job of remembering that. I've been there myself. Easy to say, but difficult to do, I'll admit. Tell me about it. Party arrives at the Temple of Fame only to find it under assault. The temple's priest Vesta accepts their help in cleansing the temple. After fighting off the attackers, Vesta nearly collapsed from exhaustion. The following morning, they observe a massive Armoran force headed towards Delia. Vesta tells them that she is a member of the Order of Eternals, an ancient organization dedicated to protecting the aspects. She is traveling to Therefor to meet with the masters of her order. In possession of many aspects, she fears their safety. She suggests that the party come with her. Their more intimate knowledge of the necromancer's methods and doings would help the order determine a course of action. Though it leans heavily on their hearts, leaving the war and their nations behind is the right thing to do. They leave to follow the army north, then find the captain in Swift Harbor. In doing so, they stumble across a massive battle. Gods below.
Wow!
What is that? I wish I could tell you. The light, is it some kind of weapon? If we had a weapon that powerful locked up in Delian Armory somewhere, I'd know about it. No, it must be Armoran. Could it be something the mages conjured up? Impossible. Uncle could never have kept it secret. So then which is it? Delian or Armoran? It doesn't matter. Vesta, have you ever encountered anything this powerful before? Not outside of a book. Wait, look, in the center. That's not a weapon, it's a person.
No way!
If that's a person, then I'm a potato. That rolls out less than you'd think. Whatever it is, it has to be stopped. Have you lost your mind? We'd best steer clear of that thing. We can still make it to Swift Harbor if we... Look where we are. Caught again between Armor and Delia, and up against something alien to both and more powerful than either. Irvin raises a fair point. I'd say there's a slim chance this magic has nothing to do with our necromancer. No better playground than a battlefield for someone like that.
To arms!
Who would we be if we ran? What if we learned that Armorans and Delians alike were wiped out by an army of undead? We have to stop this. I doubt we'd be able to waltz right in. The war horns have sounded. The battle has already begun. You're not getting in there without a fight. Then a fight it is.
When you're ready, follow me.
I realize what I'm asking of each of you. I won't force you to come with me, but I cannot stand idly by as a witness to a slaughter. Samara and we want to come with you. Only we fear for our people. And what about our people? We will not strike a single soldier who does not stand in our way. You have my word.
All right.
Then Sarah and I are with you,
Can do.
as are Lincoln and I.
Works for me.
No doubt, I'm ready to go.
Oh, all right.
Us too. Benji's always up for a fight.
I guess.
Sure, why not?
Well, what do you know?
What are you giving me that look for? Of course we're with you. Besides, you wouldn't stand a chance without us. Well, it seems you have your companion support. Lead on, Irving. I fear we may already be too late.